Hey guys, OG Albina here, bringing you guys my APA Academy Season 2 Round 1 playoff match against Matt O'Shea and his Montreal Milotic. Matt is a really awesome dude. In the few times I've talked to him, he's been really cool. He's a very talented battler. He's had a phenomenal season despite being the bad end of plenty of hacks. He's performed very well. If for some reason you're on my channel and you don't know who Matt is, which I highly doubt, be sure to check him out, as well as all the other coaches in the description below. Now, let's just jump right into the game. Quick little, after we kind of go over, the preface of things and, kind of lay the groundwork and stuff like that. If you guys did not see our last week's game, which is week 12, we actually played Matt in the last week of the regular season. We did unfortunately lose. However, we did not bring our best team. We brought a very different team, opposed to the one that we're bringing in this match in particular. So hopefully we can catch him off guard with that. He has a phenomenal team. It is absolutely terrifying. But I go for that much more depth over in the team builder that should have went up yesterday. I'll link that in the description below. Be sure to definitely check that out because we have a really cool team this week that I'm really proud of. And hopefully it can do well and we can get our revenge here in round 1 against Matt, which is it's pretty fun that we played him the last week of the regular season, then we played him round 1 of playoffs when it was the same thing with Little Cup, where we played Inverse Fight week 10 of the regular season, and then we played him literally the next week in round 1 of playoffs too. So pretty funny how things worked out for us. Kind of got the short end of the stick and had to do that twice when I'd actually never had that happen to me before. Happened both in the same week, which is pretty funny. But yeah, regardless, let's go over the 6 that my opponent elected to bring and then give a quick overview of the team that I brought. But again, go check out that team builder if you want more in-depth analysis on that. But Matt actually elected to bring the same exact 6 Pokemon that he brought last time. This doesn't mean necessarily that they are the same exact sets or anything like that, but he did bring the Megalodios, the Ho-Oh, the Halucha, Aegislash, Dugtrio, and the Tapu Koko. While the team we're bringing a very defensive Rest Talk Shed Shell Tyrantrum with Edgequake coverage. I guess not Edgequake, it's Head Smash and Earthquake. We are bringing a Stealth Rock Roar, Avalanche, Earthquake, Piloswine. We are bringing a pretty mixed defensive Mandibuzz, but also with some Spadef and some attack investment to a KO that Lucha at +1 defense. We have a Nasty Plot Shukaberry, Naganadel with Dual Stabs, Fire Blast, a sub Belly Drum Lanoon with Extreme Speed and Stomping Tantrum, and then we have a Focus Sash Deoxys with Psychic, Superpower, Rock Slide, and Shadow Ball, which hits his team very hard, showing the the 6 that he brought. And we'll never have to click Superpower in this game, but I figured it was good to have it for the Bisharp nonetheless. But yeah, I am going into this kind of lead pick and stuff like that. Lead pick, that sounded terrible. Going into this match, I really thought last time I let off with Piloswine and it put on an immense amount of pressure on on Matt here in the early game. So I figured he would want to potentially lead with something that dealt with Piloswine. And the thing that, in my opinion, deals best with Piloswine on his build is going to be the Ho-Oh. Unless I'm packing the Rock Slide, or even if I am, it's not taking much. It can potentially burn me. It can potentially, defog my Rock Slide when I get them up. It's probably his best thing to check me before rocks are up, in my opinion. So I figured he might want to lead off with that. So I kind of tried to counter lead and let off with my Tyrantrum. But as you're gonna see, I kind of stretch a little bit there and get a little bit too, meta and thinking he's gonna lead this to stop me from leading this, so I lead this. When in actuality, he's just gonna lead off with the Megalodios like he did last game, which is unfortunate because I really wanted to lead Piloswine. I led good against 5 out of 6 members, so that's completely my bad. I 100% should have, gone with the one that had the best overall matchup versus everything, because I had switches into the Ho-Oh if he ended up leading off with that, being this Tyrantrum. So unfortunately, I'm going to be forced out turn 1. I'm going to go out into my Mandibuzz. I don't want to, just raw get, get a bunch of damage off on my Piloswine and stuff like that. I want to go into Mandibuzz because I know I'm not too KO by this thing, as he is going to go for a Dragon Pulse, which is completely fine because you're going to see after this Dragon Pulse we're going to get up to a decent amount of health right here, which is obviously really nice. In my head, I'm thinking he probably doesn't want to stay in on me, being that I am a Mandibuzz, so I'm going to go for the Roost as he actually elects to stay in, and he goes for the Calm Mind. Now this is terrifying because if I would have went for the Foul Play right here, we'd be in a great spot in all honesty. We would be able to just foul play him and then potentially live this next hit right here after our leftovers recovery, and then foul play him again. But unfortunately we did go for the roost this turn. I 100% have to click foul play, regardless of him being no IVs in attack and, you know, intimidation, stuff like that. We're still going to do a ginormous chunk to him, as he does actually end up being able to KO us at +1, which is unfortunate, but we're able to get off like a clean 85-90% on this Latios, which is obviously really, really good. And depending if he gets like a min roll or something like that, we can potentially live this next Dragon Pulse after our leftovers recovery. But you're gonna see here, he's gonna be able to take us out, which is unfortunate, but it's fine. It's not the biggest deal in the world. Our main goal was to check this thing with our Mandibuzz, and not much else. So we got a big chunk off on it, and we're gonna be able to go to Deoxys. He has no hazards up on the field, so we retain our sash, and we're gonna be able to go for a pretty free Shadow Ball. And honestly, he's gonna switch out, electing to save the Latios, which is fair because it does put on a lot of pressure on my team. And right here, he is going to go on to Ho-Oh. I'm going to go for the Shadow Ball and do pretty much nothing in this thing, showing he's incredibly bulky. Get this for Def Drop. However, this doesn't matter. I don't see leftovers, so I'm thinking he may be Chardy again. I don't want to risk that and, you know, potentially sack my Dio right here or get rid of, lose its sash. So I am going to switch out into my Tyrantrum, which is unfortunate because he's actually going to make a really smart double, and he's going to go back out into his Latios, getting in a nice free switch in, which is a really good play on Mad Ends, being able to, you know, predict my pretty predictable check in my Tyrantrum and go on to the Latios, being able to, you know, get a free hit off with that thing potentially. As he is going to go for a Dragon Pulse right here on my Piloswine. You're going to see that this is potentially, this is definitely not a 2-hit KO, but it is a 3-hit KO, which is unfortunate. I'm going to elect to get up my rocks right here regardless, because I know I can live any hit, as he reveals the Energy Ball, which is a cool bring on his end. That actually would have potentially been a 2-hit KO depending on rolls and stuff like that. But we're going to get up our rocks, forcing him to either never really get up his rocks if he has them on Dugtrio, or, you know, force him into a defog turn with this Coco, potentially, if that's his defogger once again. But he's going to be able to go for a Dragon Pulse, pick us off once again. This Mega Latios is, just, you know, just running through our team right now, which is really unfortunate. Excuse me, as I, you know, cough a bunch. Ugh, that wasn't fun. But right here, I'm going to be able to go out into my, Deoxys. Now the Ho-Oh isn't really a check to me anymore, so I'm able to throw off a pretty free Shadow Ball. He elects to sack off the Latios, which is great for me, because that thing, again, was very terrifying. But everything at this point was pretty much in range of it. I was able to revenge it from that point if he didn't have Roost or anything like that. But, you know, we were able to take him out right there. He's going to go into Dugtrio, reveal to be Scarf. However, this is great for me, because I know I can 100% take this thing out with the Psychic, because if he was Sash, I would have outsped him and been able to knock him out. If he was Scarf, like, you know, he showed he was, we're going to be able to 100% knock him out with the Psychic. So Latios picking up 2 quick kills here, evening up the score for us, which is great, because we fell into the back foot pretty hard there, which is, you know, definitely not good. As he's going on a Coco, he's going to take the Rock Ship. This screams that he is once again Scarf. So we brought a very similar team to last time, but however, I'm going to be able to sack off my Deoxys here, mostly to get switch initiative. I could have potentially saved it, you know, because it could have outsped the Ho-Oh out of terrain and knocked it out. It could have outsped the Hawlucha out of terrain, knocked it out. It could have always outsped the Ho-Oh. But he had the Coco to always outspeed me. He had the Edge Slash to always outspeed me, so I didn't really think there was a big reason to take chip on something just to sack my Deoxys later. As right here, he's going to go into Edge Slash. I'm going to go into my Lanoon, and right here, I'm going to make a little bit of a misplay. Again, I'm going to kind of take that rematch kind of mentality in mind, and I'm going to overplay a little bit here. In my head, I'm thinking, I was watching Matt's video before this, and he was talking about how Lanoon was a really big threat to him, you know, from week 12. He's talking about Lanoon is a really big threat to him. However, his set last time was, you know, obviously walled by sub Lanoon, which is what we brought this time. In my head, I'm thinking, I don't think he's going to run that set again. I think it, I don't think it was necessarily the most optimal set versus my team, so I am going to click Belly Drum because of the fact that I 100% live a hit from full from this thing, which is obviously really nice, even if he goes for the Sacred Sword. However, if I do go for a sub, I do drop to a Sacred Sword, so I don't want to take that risk. I'm going to go for a Belly Drum right here, just trying to break through his team and see what I can do from there. As I am going to, you know, throw off the Belly Drum. Thankfully, we don't mess up our HP and, you know, not do an even number. That would have absolutely sucked. But we're able to maximize our own attack, get our berry back up all the way to full health, and get it to +6 attack. As you're going to see right here, he does reveal the Toxic. However, he misses, and this is ginormous because this is going to set across, you know, a series of plays that really does, you know, put in, you know, just put Matt in a terrible position. This is going to cause a million 50-50s right here, as he is going to go for the King Shield right here, catch me in my Stomping Tantrum. We're going to go down to +4. However, we can still potentially, obviously 2-hit KO this thing. And right here, he is going to switch out, go out into his Hawlucha, which is completely fine. We're going to go for Stomping Tantrum, and unfortunately, obviously not going to be able to touch it. However, E-Speed should be able to bring this thing in a range of another E-Speed. There's no way it doesn't, and we're obviously going to outspeed him, even if he is in terrain, just due to our priority and stuff like that. So we're going to be able to eventually take out this Hawlucha, which is obviously really nice. Even at +4, and he's at +1 defense, we do an absolute ton, so he is not very bulky on his Lucha, which is obviously really nice. He's going to go for the Acro, break our sub, which is fine. We'll be able to get up a sub on the Aegislash once again, and Extreme Speed picks off everything else from this range. So Lanoon's looking in a phenomenal position because of that Toxic Miss, and 100% because of that Toxic Miss. We would have been able to potentially break through his team if we want some 50-50s, if we got Toxic, but we definitely wouldn't have been in this position right here, as he is going to pivot up back out into his Aegislash. I almost clicked Stomping Tantrum, but I figured there was no real reason to save Lucha, being that it died to rocks. I guess I gave him another potential sack later in the game. As right here, he is going to go for a substitute on my substitute, so that was a great play on Matt's end, making it to where I have to win 2 50-50s in order to knock this thing out. Minimum. That's assuming he doesn't sub on another turn in which I click Stomping Tantrum. But right here, he is going to go for a King Shield once he is behind the sub, trying to bait out my Stomping Tantrum, as I am going to go for another substitute myself. Basically, just trying to avoid the hit while saving the PP of my Extreme Speed. And now I'm going to speed this up a little bit, because this goes on for a while. As I am going to go for a Stomping Tantrum here, we're going to catch him. Basically, we have to essentially catch him twice, where he's going to, not be able to go for a sub, at least. We have to catch him on a Stomping Tantrum, make sure he doesn't have a sub, and then the next time he doesn't have a sub up, we have to catch him on a turn he doesn't King Shield, and when he tries to take advantage of us and get up a sub or something like that, because he's making phenomenal plays throughout this. He actually plays around this Lanoon phenomenally, considering that he missed the Toxic and stuff like that. He did not let the tilt get to him, or if I definitely think he was probably tilted, but he didn't let it get to him, and the fact that he played around this thing incredibly well. We're still at +4 at this point, which is obviously really nice, but we are definitely in, I almost said back foot. That's definitely not true. We're definitely in a precarious situation, as right here he's going to catch us again. We're going to drop to we're going to drop to +2. Unfortunately, I got a little aggressive, a little antsy there, as he's going to switch out his what do you call it? Oh no, this is the turn in which he swapped out Hawlucha that I was confused. The other time definitely makes sense because it still lived rocks, but now it definitely doesn't. He's going to pivot out again into the Aegislash, basically because this will give him a turn in which he doesn't need to win a 50-50, and he can definitely go for a protect, but he's actually going to catch me once again and go for a substitute, and this is getting pretty insane. He's definitely playing around this thing incredibly well. I have to catch him on a turn in which he doesn't go for the King Shield. If he does, I'm back at neutral, and I can't belly drum up again because I'm already below half, which is obviously no bueno. As right here, he's going to go for a King Shield, and I'm going to go for yet another substitute. So this turn, provided he does not get the double protect, we should be able to get off a Stomping Tantrum. As we do, we're able to break the sub, which is obviously really nice. And his substitute is going to fade. Now this again puts us in another situation. Does he substitute? Does he, expecting ours? As he actually does. As I expected him to potentially go for a King Shield there, which is obviously really unfortunate. I'm going to go for a Stomping Tantrum here, though, expecting to want to, try and waste some of my substitute PP, as that is what he does, is he is going to go for a Toxic that obviously isn't going to work because we are behind the sub. And right here, he is going to go for a King Shield. However, we do not fall for the bait this time, which is fine. We go for a substitute right there. Now, provided he does not get the 50-50, we should be able to go for the 50% chance. We should be able to go for a Stomping Tantrum. Now, +2 Stomping Tantrum actually does 50% to a max speed HP Aegislash. If he's not Spadef. If we just max HP, +2, we actually 2-hit KO him. So I'm thinking I have to win a lot more 50-50s, but Lanoon's still looking pretty okay to punch a big hole in my opponent's team. However, I completely forgot about this in-game, and I was wondering how this happened. With Stomping Tantrum, if you don't know the mechanics, if Stomping Tantrum or another move fails before you use Stomping Tantrum, the power of Stomping Tantrum is actually doubled. So you're going to see, we're going to get off the Stomping Tantrum, and we're actually going to clean Oko the Aegislash because it doubled the power, because we tried to click substitute and it said the move has failed before. So we are able to get off a ginormous hit. I'm going to slow it down as this end game happens because I'm still on 1.75. Let's go back down to normal. Cool. So he's going to sack the Hawlucha to rocks, which obviously doesn't really matter. I guess he could have saved his sack later, but he's going to be able to go into the Ho-Oh right here. I'm going to throw off yet another extreme speed. Now, I don't know if this mattered. I'll be real. I don't know if this mattered because you're going to see right here we are going to get a crit. However, we would have obviously been able to pick him off the next turn, and I think the game was pretty much sealed at this point anyways. It's just a matter of diff, and diff obviously doesn't matter in a situation like this. My Deoxys is still on the screen. But right here, the Ho-Oh is going to go down, which is obviously great. He's going to go out into Coco, and the game's all but sealed at this point. We're going to be able to go for an extreme speed. Whether or not we donk him out right here does not really matter in all honesty. But you're going to see right here, we actually are able to take him out. He definitely wasn't very bulky. Coco and Lanoon is going to put the team on its back, able to pick up a nice little sweep there at the end on the back of some very, very unfortunate hacks. I do feel really, really bad about winning the game this way. I don't necessarily think I lost if I was hit with that Toxic. I think I still had outs. I still had my Naganadel, which was looking really, really great once the Trio went down to potentially trap me. If I got up to +2, and since rocks were up, I think I pretty much just won the game because I had to force a lot of KOs there, and I don't think Lucha ever KO'd me from full, which is obviously really, really good. But again, I can't say I won for sure, though. Obviously, I don't know that whatsoever, and that miss definitely did win me the game in that situation. It made it to where it was pretty much impossible for him to win, despite him playing really, really well around my Lanoon and winning a ton of 50-50s, playing that phenomenally, which was pretty crazy to play against. I'm not gonna lie to you, even though I got the Toxic miss on my end, I was tilted during that battle because of how many 50-50s I was losing there. But GG's to Matt. He played that game great. Again, the score isn't indicative of how he played that game. Some very, very unfortunate hacks. Be sure to go check him out. He's a really, really cool dude. Makes amazing content. Again, if you haven't checked him out and you're on my channel, I'm really, really surprised. But do so if you haven't, as well as all the other coaches in the description below. Next week, we will be taking on our good buddy Jacob, as always, and his Green Bay Pikachus. And Jacob is a really, really good Draft League player. I have played him twice. I believe I'm 1-1 versus him. My first battle ever versus him actually is up on the channel. It was during NCP Season 1, where we actually played him in semifinals. And that was an interesting game. Jacob actually timer stalled us, so I'm hoping to get some revenge here. Not necessarily with timer stall, but with hopefully a win at the very least, so we can potentially move on to semifinals, which would be absolutely amazing. I really, really want this Academy Championship. It would mean a bunch. There's some amazing coaches in here, and being able to win here would really kind of cement and show our skill and stuff like that, which would obviously be really, really nice. But yeah, that is going to be our round 1 game. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you did enjoy, be sure to drop a like, subscribe, all that good stuff, just so you can catch our league games and our Showdown Lives as they go up every week. Got plenty of plans going into Gen 8, so be sure to stick around if you would like to do so. And yeah, with that being said, I'm going to get on out of here. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. Later.